Alright, we are back for another painting video, and today we're painting one of the new Ardboys from the Orruk Warclans, or the Ironjawz, new release. We're going to hop right into it. I'm going to start with Gut Rip of Flesh, and this is going to be for the base tone of our skin. Despite it saying Gut Rip of Flesh, I like to use this color for the skin tone of all my orcs. And then for these orcs, specifically, I'm going to add another color on top of it. But we're starting off with this color. This model was primed with Wraithbone Spray from Citadel Games Workshop, however you want to say that. And yeah, nothing too fancy here. Just going for a quick and easy paint job. I'm hoping, not including drying time, because drying time will always extend things, but I'm hoping that this can be a 20-minute paint job or so. I think that would be, for an Ironjawz army, to get some Ardboys done, 3 of them done in an hour. Even faster if you were batch painting. I think that would be, that seems like an ideal time for me. You're not going to be painting, you know, you're not going to be painting 100 Ardboys, probably. I guess I don't know what their... No, yeah. I think their points are 2 something for 10. So you're definitely not going to be painting 100 for a 2,000 point game. You might be painting maybe up to 30. So, you know, 3-hour sessions of batch painting Ardboys, and you could have 30 done. That's my goal. I'm not sure if I'll achieve it. I always seem to paint a little slower in videos than I do in real life, but I'm just going to keep painting and we'll see where we end up. Let me get, this is there's a seam in the plastic right there, but it's still his skin under there. And then let me get the other side of the neck here and the other ear. And then I think we'll be good with this color. All right. Maybe just right in there. There's a little bit of skin. Oh, and this is skin actually right here. Hanging out under the leather or fabric, whatever it is here. All right, good. So I will let that dry, and then we will come back and do the next step. All right, we're back, and our Gut Rip of Flesh is nice and dry. And now we're going to go to our second green, Plague Bearer Flesh. And this is just to give it a slightly different tint than the Gut Rip of Flesh. And if you look on the website at these new Gut Rippers, they have a sort of Plague Bearer Flesh kind of tint to them. Kind of an olivey sort of green. So it works out. I was going to do this anyway, but then when I was looking at the pictures on the website, it worked out even more. So I'm just putting this over our previous green, and if I don't get 100% coverage, that's fine. Just trying to more or less get coverage. Get it on the big chunk of skin here. And you do have to be careful around all this stuff. I'm not exactly sure what colors are going to be where on this armor, so I don't want to accidentally get some on a piece of armor that we need to paint like yellow or something, and then it won't show up, or it won't cover it, rather. It will show up is the problem. So I'm just being careful. But there you go. There's our Plague Bearer Flesh added. So I'm going to go straight into the next color, and I'm just going to pull up the website photo here, take some Ironjawz yellow, and I'm just going to copy it piece for piece. So I'm going to start with the shield. Get a bigger brush for this. Get my brush wet, as I've said in many videos. You need a slightly damp brush to apply contrast paint well, in my opinion. And then I'm just going to come down here on the shield and apply it all over. Because the shield has this sort of beaten metal texture on it, you can be pretty heavy-handed with the contrast paint. You're not going to get a lot of tide marks or anything. It'll just settle into this beaten metal texture and really sell the effect of the contrast paint. get down, make sure to get all the insides here. Probably would make sense for the back of the shield to be a different color, just because I assume these are painted metal, not yellow metal, but for ease of painting, I'm just going to paint the whole shield yellow. And then again, just following the website, I'm just going to paint this little piece of metal here yellow. And you could do, you know, any pieces you wanted in yellow or in your main color or your pop color or whatever. It's kind of funny. In this case, yellow is sort of acting as our main color and our pop color. The color we're using is obviously called Ironjawz yellow, so this kind of is their army color. But also because we're going to have so many dark browns and blacks and metals, it's going to also work as our pop color. So there we go, and then I'll just glance at the website again. Oh, his boots. His boots are yellow. But yeah, you could put this on any panels you wanted, really. Just kind of, the idea seems to be on the pictures on the website, they just kind of spread them out so that you get a sort of mixture of the different colors around the orc. So I'm going to include the knee pad in this one, just for fun, why not? And on most colors that we're going to do in this area, they'll cover right over this yellow. So if we're a little bit messy, that's okay. We're going to mostly be using dark browns and stuff on everything around these boots. So, all right. So there's our yellow, nice and applied. I will let this dry and look over the rest of the miniature and kind of decide where I'm going to place the other colors. And then once this is all dry and I've done that, we'll come back and do the next step. All right, we are back and we're moving on to our next armor color, and that's going to be Black Templar. And similar to the yellow, I'm just going to pick out a couple different areas of the armor. Get my brush a little bit wet. And then I'm just going to pick out a couple different areas of the armor to be black. But I'm going to use a smaller brush, I just realized. I don't want to be getting this black on anything else. So I'm going to do this knee pad. A little bit too much water on our brush. Do this knee pad. Probably going to do his face mask as well. And so this is sort of, this is what, well, how to say this? This is in the position of a pop color. That is to say, the amount of it that is appearing on the miniature means that it would be a pop color. However, because this is black and we're going to have lots of other dark colors on it, it's not really going to be a pop color. So this guy's a little confusing in that regard. Normally you'd like to have 1 to 2 main colors and then a pop color and then ancillary details. But in this case, our main colors are silver and yellow, and then our pop color is also yellow because everything else is going to sort of blend together. All right, so there's his shoulder pad, and then I'll get his face mask here. And I'm just doing the lower half of the mask. The upper half will be silver. There we go. This bit in particular is kind of a pain to paint. It's got a lot of edges, and there's other details around it. So I'm just being very, very careful. But similar to the shield, there are so many different textures and bumps and ridges and stuff on this that it takes the contrast paint very, very well. So then, I think that's going to be it for the black. Oh, nope, just kidding. These two little things right here are going to be black. And, you know, I might find a I had a little detail that I end up painting black later, but for now, this will be it. There we go. So, I'm going to let that dry, and then we're going to come back and paint the rest of the armor using one of the new metallic speed paints. Alright, we are back, and we're moving on to our first speed paint of the paint job here. That's going to be Broadsword Silver from the 2.0 line of speed paints, one of the metallic speed paints. I've already put some out here on my palette, and I'm just going to go in and start painting all the other armor panels that we haven't already painted in this color. And I may end up needing a second coat of this. We're going to see. It's a pretty dark color, but going over this very light primer may require a second coat. Not 100% sure yet. If it does, I'll do that off camera. And when I come back, I will let you know if I did it or not. We might also just put some Nuln Oil on it. We'll have to see. But regardless, I am going to just keep trucking along here. I was going to say I will finish this up and then come back, but I really want to see how long this is going to take. You know, I said I wanted to try to target 20 minutes, and I don't have another timer going, so these video clips are really going to be the only record of how long it takes. So I'll keep it going. Shouldn't take me too long. If you get bored of watching the same color for however long it takes me, you could skip ahead in the video, or you could go find your local animal shelter's website and donate them some money. It's always a good thing to do if you're bored. You could like the video. You could dislike the video. It wastes about the same amount of time. You could subscribe to the channel. About the same amount of time as liking the video, to be honest. You could go pop up another video. Maybe like, I don't know, Sidney Crosby highlights. That would be cool. Hockey season's coming up. Best player in the world. See how awesome he is. That would be cool. We are painting this guy in Pittsburgh colors, so it sort of works out in a way. But yeah, long story short, you can do a lot of things when you're bored. But maybe you're not bored. For me, watching painting videos can be somewhat meditative. Probably less meditative when I'm endlessly talking like this. But yeah. Alright, we're back. And hopefully in that time lapse you saw that I did end up doing 2 layers of the Broadsword Silver on this metal, just because it wasn't quite dark enough. But now we're going to go on to Snakebite Leather, another wonderfully orky color. And that's going to be for shock of all shocks, the leather. So I'm just going to start in here on the belts, and this dude does have a lot of them. I will just let you know that right off the bat. There are a lot of belts on these orcs. We do want to be careful though, because there are a lot of other things around these belts. We do not want to get this color on any of them. The pants are going to be a darker brown, so wouldn't be the end of. Alrighty, we are back, and we're going to do 2 colors in one step this time. We're going to start with Gargak Sewer, and this is going to be for the pants on this guy. Get my brush a little bit wet. And then just fill in all this. And this is different enough from the snakebite leather that it will look like 2 different colors, which is the goal, since it is 2 different colors. A couple of the contrast paints are really not that dissimilar from each other, and if you use them next to each other, they just end up looking like the same color. Okay. Get the side here. There we go. And then we just got a little bit of the pants poking through in the front here. And then right in here. Perfect. The second color we're going to use is Battleship Gray from the Speed Paint. They don't say 2.0 on them, but I had never seen this color in the original Speed Paint. And since I am the main character of my own reality, I am going to declare that these are in fact a 2.0 color. I'm going to get some out on my palette here. And then I'm just going to go in and on this cloth here. There we go. This will contrast well with the other colors on the mini, and just give another pop of color, sort of. This will require 2 coats because this paint is very not pigment dense. Oh, there's a little bit of leather I missed there. I'll be doing touch-ups at the end, so it's fine. I'm just going to go back now and do a second layer here, darken it up a little bit. There we go. I will say, Speed Paint seems to be able to take a second layer much quicker than Contrast does. If you try to paint Contrast a second layer on that quickly, you'll tear the surface, and it will be bad. But Speed Paint, you can kind of double it up rather quickly. So, I will let that dry, and then I will come back and we'll do the chainmail, the other silver details, the horns here on the front, and then we will start doing a little bit of weathering. Alrighty, we are back, and we're going to start with Enchanted Steel from the Speed Paint 2.0 line. Already got some out here on a palette, and this is just going to be the chainmail on this guy. This color is slightly blue compared to Broadsword Steel, and so it'll just look a tiny bit different than the rest of the metallic. Get it all up in there. Oh, I didn't do the side of this panel. Let me just do that real quick. There we go. Get these hooks in this color. Staying away from the skin and stuff that is around this. As much as possible anyway. Alright, I think that's the only instances of chainmail. So then, we're going to go on to Polished Silver, also Speed Paint 2.0. And I already have some out. And we're just going to get all the other details with this. So this little tooth down there. Let's see, these rivet things on the handle for the shield, the belt buckles, pretty much everything that isn't painted on this guy, except for these horns here in the front that are going to be a bone color. Just gonna make my way across here. And then I'm going to get all the rivets and extra little details that are on the yellow parts of the armor. So these little armor, I don't know, whatever they are, maybe they're patches, whatever those are. I'm going to get these as well. Flip it over and get the other side of them. And you just get in here where I didn't get completely yellow. We'll just cover those in silver. We've got some more rivets here. Some here on the black. So just going around and getting silver on all of these. And then finally, we're going to paint the sword with this color as well. Should be some more over here. Couple on the mask here. All right, I think, oh, nope, there's a couple right here. There's one right there. Okay, now we're going to do the sword. Get it all the way to the top there. Getting a nice smooth coat. We don't want to see brush strokes in this finish. There we go. All right, so we're good there. So now I'm just going to go straight into the next color here. That's going to be Snakebite Leather. No, sorry, Skeleton Horde from back in the contrast paint line. And that's going to be for these horns here in the front. Make sure to get the bottoms. And then the fingernails on the orc. Make sure it's got a solid coverage there. And then, I think I might have said this was the last color, but it was a lie. This is the last color, Space Wolves Gray. And this is going to go on our blue that we put on earlier. Just to darken it down just a little bit. So then, if you wanted, this could be pretty much the end of your orc. Honestly, you probably didn't even need to put this color on. You could have called it a day. Your primer was all covered at this point. But I'm going to go one step further and just do a little bit of weathering on the yellow. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to take my Broadsword silver again. Sorry, my polished silver again. And I found this sponge on the end of a stick at Hobby Lobby. I think it was 99 cents. So I'm just going to, as you can see, it's, you know, it's a sponge. It's got different pock marks in it and stuff. Just going to get a little bit of the polished silver on the end of my sponge here. Get most of it off. And then I'm just going to come into the shield, for instance. I'm just going to do this along the edge. Like there has been battle damage. I'm going to get a little bit more here. Put a bigger chunk maybe on it. Like there have been scrapes and cuts and all sorts of stuff done to the shield. Then I'll do it on the yellow up here as well. There we go. And then down here on the boots. And you don't have to do this, obviously. If you want your orcs to have cleaner armor, that is, of course, your prerogative. But I just wanted them to be a little dirtier. And then I'm going to take some Gorgrunta fur and get the silver off this sponge. And then do the same thing with some Gorgrunta fur. Get it all nice and worked in there. And then in the same spots that I just did that silver, I'm just going to come in and do a little bit of this brown. Just tap it in there. You can kind of drag it like you saw there, drag it across the surface as you tap it in. And then see if I can get just a little bit in there. Probably what you can do is you can focus your sponge a little bit more and then tap it in there and you'll get pretty much the same result. And then I'm just going to use a tiny bit of this on the edge of the sword, just to give a little bit of visual interest on the sword here. Maybe it's some dried blood or who knows what. There you go, on the edge of the sword. And then I think we're basically done. You could throw some washes around this guy, do all sorts of different things, but I think for me, I'll be happy with the result here. So right about now, you should be seeing the finished product, and that'll be him on a base. My orc army is going to be a pirate orc army. Not really. I'm not doing any conversions or really any major change to the models to make them more piratey. I'm just going to make sort of a mini display board that'll have some ships, and they'll be getting off the ships on the display board. And so I'm putting, as you can see in the finished product, that wooden decking will be their basis, and that's just made with simple, actually I can show you here, just simple basswood strips that I just lay out and then put a couple different colors of brown paint on there and call it a day. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Somewhere on the screen will be the total paint time. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I don't think I hit 20 minutes. Maybe I was under 30. We'll see. Obviously, as I did more and more of these, I'd get faster and faster. But I think it was still a pretty quick paint job for the result. I'm pretty happy. So thank you everybody for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos. And I will see you on the next one.